Can I, one more thing?
Yes.
Will you remind them, and I think, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, just because, T came up here the other day and he was making sure I had on my calendar adult day graduation. And that's in
June 21st.
June 21st
Yes, sir.
at 9, right?
Yes, sir.
So, yeah.
You're speaking.
Uh-oh. So, June 21st at 9. Well, surprise, surprise, I'm glad I asked that. Do what?
21st?
Yes, sir. June 21st at 9 o'clock, it's a Saturday, and adult ed graduation, I mean, usually they have it at the ALC gym. They may or may not have it in another building, just depends on what's available, right?
Yeah. Right now, I think it's still scheduled at
Okay.
ALCG.
If you haven't been.
Can we just get an email
Sports
out?
Flex.
Absolutely,
Just to
yep,
remind us.
absolutely, yep, we'll send you one.
Mr. Gill,
Now,
you have something?
Probably point of direction.
Uh-oh.
all right, thank y'all.
Thank you, Mr. Field. We're gonna move capital projects. Hunter's not here. He's gonna, Dr. Combs is gonna take care of that, so we'll move that down. So Billy, Chief, come on.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening.
Not a lot tonight. We'll pick up more at our May work session for our adjustments to the budget protection. Looks like our amendments that you all approved will be ratified by the county commission on May the 12th. And so that'll adjust that budget document in the middle column. And we'll also make some adjustments based on the wire that we got recently. In your folder there, you'll see several items. Just want you to take a look over that. I put that wire notice in there just so you have that official notice, and also put the numbers as they break down, the May 2025 numbers, how they break down from that figure, kind of where they're going, just so that you have that as well for reference. Of course, I sent you an email about the board work session payments. Expect those on May the 15th and for your review. And the last thing, Mr. Chairman, is the financial reports for the 141 General Purpose School Fund, 142 School Federal Projects Fund, 143 Central Cafeteria Fund, and the 177 Capital Projects Fund, just to be spread on the minutes, no action needed.
Great. Thank you.
Close my report. Any questions?
Any questions?
All right.
We handled them all. We handled them all earlier on. What makes this a lot easier, you know?
Exactly right, yes.
Yes. Any questions for Mr. Daughtry? If not, thank you.
Thank you.
Very much. Thank you. Dr. Combs?
So I have about a 45-minute, no, I'm just kidding.
We're under time anyway.
I know, right? Couple things, before I go into this one, let me say this, just to the group. I wanna say thank you for your community support. Y'all do an incredible job engaging with the schools, engaging with the community, making sure they know who you are and that you're interested in what's going on in those buildings and around the buildings. Just, I mean, security, the way you engage with our law enforcement and all that, I just wanna say I appreciate that. That makes everything a lot easier. You know, when you walk up to a principal or a teacher or something like that and they know you because they've seen you enough, that says a whole lot, right? So, anyway, I just wanna say thank you for that. Your community involvement is really to be commended. Thank you. That's awesome. All right, building update. So, pretend like I have a beard and I'm a lot younger, and I would be Hunter. So, school construction update. He gave me some bullet points here. Miss Alicia, can you see over my big head? So, basically, with the school construction update, he sent me these bullet points. First off, the dirt work, mass grading is complete at the softball fields, and there's still some drainage work to do. Concrete, the site concrete work is started. Preparing samples for colored concrete, footings for screen wall at the loading dock was poured Tuesday, and the seating area, starting footings on the softball concession, poured the stage in the cafeteria last week. And then masonry, HVAC, all that's going on. Another one, plumbing. Roughing is complete in most of the building. Roof drains have started. All drains are set in the kitchen. The sanitary is installed at the softball field. So they're motoring. They're taking advantage of the good weather. Fire protection. The system has been tested with air and water. Above ceiling inspection tomorrow for the parts that have a ceiling so far, right, or have the roof. And then last week on the underground. The roofers are completing the safe room Tuesday, and then the material is ordered for B and C areas, and that'll start on Monday. So when you remember when we walked in those safe rooms, remember for everybody listening, and I know all y'all know, but the cafeterias are the safe rooms, right? So when you walked in there, you saw how thick those walls were, the different size rebar that's used in there, you've seen all that, right? So that ceiling or that roof should be complete on that section, like within the week. So that's pretty cool. And then they're gonna start, setting HVAC, we'll have a separate generator for all that and all that kind of stuff. Framing and sheet rock is at 95% in J, H, and G, and the finishers are preparing the sand. That's when, honestly, I walked in there the other day, because they were painting. Right, I mean, you can see it from the outside, but when you go in there and those jokers are rolling the wall with paint, that tells you, okay, this is starting to look like a school, right? So that part was really neat. And in the gym, obviously, they were block filling it, and then they were gonna add the paint over that, and they were moving along. That was a week ago. All windows are installed, and all interior windows in H, G, and J. So if you notice from the outside, and then when we did the walkthrough, those windows are really good sized windows. The windows all across the front are all ballistic. That's code, so they're all ballistic glass. But the amount of natural light that's coming in those buildings is really cool. And then those upper lights at the top, the windows that are in there are gonna put a lot of natural light in those great big hallways. It's gonna be good for a lot of stuff, learning, behavior, everything. And so that's gonna be finished very soon. And then I'm trying to go through some of the stuff that he put on here that I don't even know what he means. Oh, last one. Sod is ordered for the front elevation at Mark Walker. And then there's been sporadic rain, and that's prevented, when you try to get sod, number one, they won't cut it if it's just rained or it's been too wet, right? So you have to wait, basically, you're beholden to them cutting it before you can transport it and get it. So as soon as we get a few dry days and they can cut the sod, they'll start putting that out front, and it'll look a lot better. But anyway, as you can see here, and if you go across now, you'll see different sections of the building that basically look like they're gonna look. You can see the brick on the outside of the block. And it's starting to take the form that it's gonna have, and it looks pretty good. All of it's been sealed, and I mean, we're still on track to do what we want to do, and that's to, everybody comes back second semester next year, they're gonna walk into a new classroom and be ready to rock. So right now, we're still on track, and I'm not even gonna say the E word. That we're
All right.
That's right, I'm not gonna say that, but right now, we're on track, it's looking really good. So again, I would encourage you, anytime you want to, give Hunter a yell, and if you wanna do another walkthrough at any point, let us know, we'll call Linkus, they'll hard hat everybody up and get us a vest and give us another walkthrough, okay? So you can keep up with it just anytime. Linkus has just been incredible to work with, oh my word, I'd write anything for them they wanted me to. They're just unreal. And you could call them in 5 minutes, say, hey, we got a crew coming out. They'll be like, hey, come on, we'll give them a tour. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, so any questions about construction there? Again, on track, everything looks good. I mean, we're still, I think we're gonna hit the mark as far as construction date. I think we're okay. So any questions there? The young man who was here in the red shirt from Crestview Middle, what grade was he in? What grade was Anthony in? Was he a seventh
I
grader?
think he was the seventh grader, yes.
So see,
Yeah.
Anthony's gonna be in the new school next year.
Yep.
That's what I was thinking the whole time he was up here. I was really trying to listen, but I was really thinking, man, he's gonna be in the new school next year, right? So that's good, just kinda makes it real. Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, thank you all.
Any questions?
Content?
As far as comment?
So, I'm gonna let Dr. Bird talk about that a little bit, but, we had a group go to, Dallas earlier in the week. Cause their flight was delayed back about 7 times. She got here 2 o'clock in the morning or something the other day. But a group went with the vendors that we had selected to pick out the stuff, and they looked at a lot of things they had in warehouses and settings to get ideas of the furniture. The principals from both schools went, and, a teacher from each school went to look at it. And so we feel good about that. We got a group picked, and we're gonna start picking out stuff, right?
Yeah, so we selected, the things that we would like, some colors we would like, and they're going to put together, some mock-up drawings that look realistic. Not just a computer drawing, but that will look pretty realistic, for them, they will send it back to us in a booklet form for us to review and make some final decisions. But, it was very exciting to get to participate in that. Makes it real.
And we didn't have to pay for it, vendors paid for it, so there you go.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
we need to tell them to send us on more stuff, that's right.
Dr.
That
Cole.
answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Anybody else? Cool. All right, last thing. So, strategic planning. All right, so, you can tell Dr. Bird made this cool slide. I can't do this stuff. I just try to make sure everything's spelled right. So, goal 2, 2023, 2028 is to enhance facilities, right? I mean, if we could, lay that on somebody's plate, Matt's over there like drooling right now. Enhance facilities, right? Make things better. That's our big thing, right? We've been working on that for a while. Upgrade security in all facilities is part of that. We all know right now that security is and has been on everyone's minds for quite a while, and will continue to be. Every year that passes, it just becomes more and more a thing that we just need to make sure that we're on top of. And that's part of the strategic plan. There, 2025, 2030 draft, goal 2, develop infrastructure and resources. And then under that, that subtitle, utilize additional safety measures. One of the things that we had the opportunity to do, so Officer Marks at Munford, the SRO at Munford High School, brought to our attention some body scanners that Dyersburg High School has. And so some of us went up there to observe those, right? Richard may or may not have been on me pretty good about making sure that we gathered a group together and went up and saw those. So, thank you, Richard, even though we had to be there at 6:30 to watch those darlings go through them. But no, it was awesome. Matter of fact, we invited law enforcement and they were all there. I mean, they were, oh yeah, they all came. We had a big group. They all showed up because they wanted to see them too. But it was really neat. I mean, the scanners that were there, you walk through them, they can handle like 1,000 kids an hour. I mean, they're body scanners, they have iPads attached to them that not just tell you like something's indicating, they give you a vicinity where it's indicating. Like, you'll walk through and there'll be like a box that shows up like on your side right here or on your leg or that gives you, and so, and of course, we tested it a few times to see if it would work, not with live stuff, but we tested it. But the kids walked through, and I'll tell you what, the kids were it was so cool. So it's been there for, I think it's the 2nd year they've had it. And they said the kids are so, and you stop me if I'm wrong here, Richard. So as the kids walk through it, they're so used to it at this point that it's just like, because my first thought is, okay, when we first look at something like this, if we do something like this, man, we're gonna have a line out to 51 Highway at Brighton getting in that building, right? No, man, they were just, went right through. And CTE, Mike, made some of those cool little rollers on each side so they can grab their laptop and slide it along that little roller as they go through, right? And then there'd be somebody over there to check those and check notebooks, and they walk through. I mean, it was seamless. Now, like I said, they've been doing it for a little bit. Huh?
Who was doing the checking?
So staff members were doing the checking.
Okay.
So there was, here's the deal. You don't want the SRO doing the checking. The SRO needs to be available and out and about, right? You don't need the SRO's pattern to be predictable. Correct?
Right.
So the SRO is there, for the security of the building, so you don't want to place them in one place constantly, so, okay, well, we know where that person's gonna be all the time, right? But they had trained staff members. There was like an assistant principal, there was someone from the front office, there were a couple teachers, there was a criminal justice teacher, the principal was out front. And as they come through, they've been all trained on that, and they did it, right? So it was really pretty neat. So, my thought after watching that, we talked to Evolve Technologies as the group, as you can see the picture up there right now. They're mobile, they're like waterproof, like you could take them out, you could move it and take it out to the stadium if you wanted to, stuff like that. My thought for the board would be for y'all to grant me a little bit of movement here and let me, work with Billy and James and Hunter, where'd Hunter go, and some other ones to kind of look through some of this and let's talk about looking at some of this and at least piloting it. My thought is let's pilot it at the high schools, and see what we can do there. Let's pilot it there. Most traffic, and I don't mean car traffic, I mean the most traffic is going to be at the high schools, right? In and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. Let's start there because there is going to be a price point. And I can, generally speaking with this, the vendor there, I mean, generally speaking, you're talking about like 20 grand per unit. But the more we buy, the more that goes down.
That's per year though?
That's per year, that's an annual cost, that's correct. And it's more like, if we do that, then like they repair them, they, they do the software updates to them, anything, all that comes along with it. It's kinda like, the copiers or something, right? So that works.
What was the enrollment?
Their enrollment is about 700 something, they're a little bigger than Covington High. And they had 2 at that front entrance, but here's the deal, we also learned this when we were there. It's not based on the number of kids you have, it's more the locations of entrance. So like, for example, at Mumford High School, there's basically one main entrance, right? Bus riders and car riders, everybody usually funnels in that. They have one point of entrance mainly, and it's that front area. So they would probably need a dual system, right? But then at Brighton High, the buses drop off on one end, and the car riders come on another part. They probably need 2 single entries. Same with Covington, right? So it depends on the way the schematic for the building layout is, more so than just the sheer number of people, because you can only have so many walk through a door at the same time anyway. And at 1,000 kids an hour, they came in, I think there was a mad rush at the end.
Within the last 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes before the bell rang, they were
Yeah,
alive.
about 5 minutes before the bell rang is when you get the mad rush.
Yes.
The rest is spaced out over a rest of an hour. So you got 750 students basically call it 500 students spaced over 45 minutes, and the rest of them come within 15. Because they just sit out there in the car and wait and stuff. But
We personally had like kids, we were talking to kids and everybody, right? We had kids like, yeah, this is cool, man. And a couple kids actually said, oh, I feel way safer. Yeah, so you're not getting anything past that. I mean, and then we had a police officer, why can I not remember his name, y'all? He graduated from Mumford High, 2007. And he is a police officer at Dyersburg, anyway, I'll think of it in a minute. Anyway, he came up there and he said, hey, I just want to tell y'all something. As an officer, as a law enforcement officer, my daughter goes to school right here. And he said, I can't tell you how good I feel about these things being right here. I love these things. So, I mean, that was cool. I mean, that was unscripted. He was just there to, actually the SRO was out that day. He was sick or something. And so this officer was coming in to stand in for him since he was out. And he just said, hey, let me tell you about, I love it here. My daughter said these are great. So anyway, it was a very good experience. Really something like, and it'd be, I think it'd be neat to pilot them at the high school. But again, there's gonna be a price point there. But I think y'all should think about that, take it up and give me a little direction. And the other thing is, turnaround on it's pretty quick. If y'all decide, if you like, what do you tell me to do? Bird dog? If you have me bird dog it, then I can have information back to you by the meeting at the end of May. And then maybe, Mr. Chair, if y'all give me direction then, we can get Billy to generate some numbers for us, see what that looks like. If we can pull some of that out of the remainder of some capital project funding maybe we have or something, and see what we can do. I think it'd be neat. I mean, we need to continue to keep up with, security updates as best we can.
Oh, it's very
My
important.
opinion.
What was the width on it? Was it like a regular door entryway?
It's about a foot. One of them's about a foot wider than that door, and the dual system's bigger than that. Yeah, I mean wheelchairs can go. I mean the whole deal. Yeah.
yeah, it's ADA compliant.
Mhm.
Yeah, and there's different frequencies, so there's different levels by which you can turn, and there's a certain sweet spot that you can do. So it's not there to detect everything. They can detect vapes, but yet it's at a high level and you get a lot of clutter. So at that time you're going to slow down, a lot of it.
That was my
But
next question
yeah,
about the vapes.
That's not a vape detector. It is a weapon. It is a weapon detector. It is a long knife. Yeah, mass casualty, long knife, pistols, guns, everything detector at that point is what it is. That's what it's designed to do. But it also, however, well, we don't need to probably say, there are some tricks of the trade that can deter some of the vaping as well.
And the sheriff's department, they even told the sheriff's department, they said,
you would turn it up higher than the school system would, because you would, you would
I see.
pull it up, like, it was like, what, A through G or something like that, you can turn it up to different readings. But again, law enforcement was there, they were very impressed with it as well, because they're looking at some of maybe the same system for like the courthouse or something. And so they were impressed with it.
Antioch is putting them in after their incident they just had.
Memphis.
They're at the Orpheum,
Memphis City
Memphis,
Schools.
Shelby County, they're at the VA. They are FERPA compliant and Homeland Security certified, basically saying they do what they say they do. And watching them, and they only, with the kids, the 700 kids, they only have a 10 to 20% alarm rate. So they don't get a lot of false alarms. That's my notes on that.
No, good.
Webinar. And it's a 10-minute setup time.
Wow.
That's it. So it's, I was pretty impressed.
I think most impressive to me, y'all, was the fact, because I don't have a security background. I have an English literature background, right? I wanted to see how the kids reacted to it. That's what I was looking for. I wanted to see what, and I'm telling you, they walk through it like they just walk in that door right there. Now again, they've had it for over a year and a half, and they're used to it. But she said, man, the first couple days, a little bit, and after that, it was just flowing. I mean, the kids are used to it. Matter of fact, a kid walks through, something goes off, he just puts his backpack on the table. Like, I mean, he knows. I mean, they were.
They call it,
It was
it's part of their fabric at this point.
Mhm.
It's part of their life. And from if you're concerned with it being, with it slowing down, I don't think that concern is gonna be there. Mumford would be the biggest school, but they size it per the students, and they're spaced out enough. But also is if it, typically what I saw was those students, that mad rush was those students who sat there and actually timed it out to where they don't need to be there 5 minutes prior, they know it. Well, so what happens is they know if they're gonna be tardy to school, because immediately that bell rings at 8 o'clock, those doors are locked, then they have to go through a full process of getting back in to school. Cause they have to go through it and they have to scan in all the stuff, so those kids don't wanna be late, they don't wanna tardy, so they're going to get there early. Once they learn it, they're going to get there early enough to say, alright, the mad rush is here, I gotta get there enough to get on time.
Yeah.
It's, you just learn it, a situation, so.
Non-invasive. It's like, so, it's not like you're getting wanded and all that stuff. I mean, it was a cool system.
Yeah, it was really,
Sounds good.
it's probably something, I would suggest something we look at as a board and as a district for sure, because, we just, from a safety standpoint, it's not foolproof, nothing's foolproof, but I think we gotta continue to make these kids safe in this world, or at least our schools safe and our teachers safe.
But if it is something you want me to bring, more at the next meeting, to give you more information, even maybe have the rep here or whatever, even have one of the law enforcement folks that was there and saw it, have them here to talk a little bit. I'm more than happy to do that with your direction.
So move forward.
Absolutely.
Are there any grants that,
So, Mr. Money over there has already been, a matter of fact, we got an email, was that yesterday? He sent it to Glenn really quick, said, hey, here's a grant, we looked at this. So, I mean,
Yeah.
there are some out there, and the Evolve group even said they will help us find some grants. There are some available that they'll connect us to. So yes, the short answer is yes.
good,
I don't know how much or how many,
right?
but there are some out there, yes.
The great thing is Corporal Marks at MHS, he's been working on this for the entire school year, is what he told me.
Mhm.
He's wrote multiple security and cops grants, said he would be more than happy to help us out if we can get these implemented, on how to write them, how to get money, and he's 100% on board with this. And
Yeah.
Guy's legit, I mean, he's all about his kids' safety, and I totally get it, I mean, he's a good dude.
That's awesome.
Any questions or anything from the board, Mr. Gibb?
I have and I don't know who to direct it to, I'm gonna kind of look over Chief's way when I say it.
Go ahead.
Y'all know where I work at, annually, we have a threat risk assessment that's done on our facility. And objectively, they say, hey, this is where you're most vulnerable. So my question is internally, and it may be a question we don't answer out in public, and that's perfectly fine too, I understand that, but are we checking the box with what we're talking about here?
Yes.
Is this a priority
Uh,
on that? Or are we taking a shot in the dark? Cause again, we're all educators or different walks of
No,
life,
that's
just
right.
like what you just said.
that's right. No,
This
this
sounds
is,
really cool, but are we we were really feeling the need. And then one thing too that I also found was that, needs at different facilities that I have are specific to different facilities that I have, and not just an all-encompassing catch-all. I know we're taking a great step, I'm not opposed to this,
Right.
but there are more pressing needs that we could spend that $40,000 annually on than, and I'm just asking.
No, it's a good question. I think, number one, as part of the threat assessment, the emergency operations plan, all that stuff that we do, you know, we have state troopers come in and check doors. You know, we've got, Johnny Jones, he takes great pride in going to all the schools and trying to find a door open somewhere, right? And then he reports it to the principal if he does and whatever. He's doing that on a daily basis. But this is in the, Baker McCool and I, EMA director, went to a training this past summer, like it was a two-day training. We went through all this, and they said weapon detection systems like this are definitely something that schools need to be looking at that are non-invasive and those kind of things. So it's kind of both. Is it checking the box? Yes, but it's a box that probably needs to be checked. I mean, the other option is you get more personnel, which is gonna be a lot more expensive than that, right? But no, I mean, John's opinion is, yes, I think it's a good move, and it's more than just checking a box. I think it's a security thing. Again, speaking on behalf of what the kids told me, I can't tell you, like, I had at least 3 kids just walk up to me because we were standing there and say, I just wanna let you know, I feel better being in this building because that thing's here. That means a ton to me. I mean, forget what all the adults say. A kid walks up to me and says, I feel more comfortable in this building because everybody has to go through that system right there. All day long, I mean, I'll vote for it.
And I think it's great, I'm not opposed to it, I just wanna make sure
Right.
that we're, and I know some of those conversations could be taboo, they want my name tag, I'm out now. But,
I can't, what?
some of those conversations you don't wanna have out in public, and I understand that, and, maybe there are capital projects that we need to do or something.
Agree. Well, and when we have as we've done, this is allowable for us, I know we've done this before, but when we have a full discussion on the EOP and incorporating these systems and all that, it'll be a closed meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, that's allowable, for things like that, right? But I thought the system was good, and I'd love to see us, try it out.
I talked to Dr. Combs about that day. It's just, obviously with my background, security is #1 priority. And I just don't wanna, it is an undertaking financially, but it's a case of, heaven forbid we have an incident, the what if we do everything we could. So I would rather be proactive than reactive. That's the way I view it. And I hope to God, it may be a waste of money. And if it is, thank God. But it also could prevent an incident at one of our schools. And if it saves one,
Saved a life.
that's big enough for me.
Some of these grants may help instrumentally. I mean, the other thing is, I don't see why, I haven't I don't want to speak on Hunter's behalf, but he and I are gonna speak to the CMAR, Lincoln CMAR over there, and see what kind of cost it would be to go ahead and integrate that into the new build. While we're doing it, use construction money to do it. I don't know that though. I mean, we're gonna have to ask that question.
That's at the middle school or?
Both, the elementary and the middle right there, because it's a new build, it's right there.
Yes.
I mean, I wish, all said and done, we get past what we're currently in, man, I'd like to put it in every single one of them. That's a lot of money. And we have to see if, but I know at Dyersburg, they were working it, and their superintendent didn't quit talking about it. She said, this is the best thing. It's awesome. So, anyway, again, no decision to make tonight other than, do you want me to research it a little further, have someone up here to talk to you that knows more about it than John, and, us speaking for what we saw, and let you hear about it too.
I guess how would the principals feel about, like, at the elementary schools? I'd like to know how they would think,
That's a good question.
It's like, what kind of environment are we wanting, especially for our younger students?
They feel like a prison.
I know it,
Yeah.
and that's what I'd hate to lose that.
It is literally in some cases that whole danged if you do, danged if you
Sure,
don't kind of
I know.
deal, right? You want to keep them safe, but you also don't want to feel them to feel like, oh my, what am I walking into?
Right,
too.
I know it.
So-
Let me tell you this one thing, good point. In talking with the safety officials, the elementary schools are the softest targets out there. If anything's gonna be targeted, it's probably gonna be them.
That's from an outside force. I feel like, I mean, are we thinking like in the high school level, is this from our, a threat from within, like a student bringing something in, you know what I mean? I guess what's
I think,
our,
I think both,
I mean,
all three,
yeah.
all
All
the above.
three.
yeah,
I mean, with the
it's
case
just a
of,
sad world that we're in.
It
with the
is.
case
It is.
of, well, with the case of,
100%.
it wasn't Antioch, but,
School
the
in
Creek
Ashland.
Covenant, that was not a student at all. In fact, I think they were looking to target their school, and then they ended up going to I can't remember, something like that, they ended up going to a whole different school.
But the other thing is to make sure we gotta keep, Johnny's, like I said, Johnny's doing a great job, and the SROs are doing a great job of constantly monitoring doors. You gotta make sure that you keep the points of entrance
Right.
to one or two, I mean, whatever you're set up for, right? You gotta keep that, and as long as, I think we've made a pretty good point about we don't prop. You remember when we were in school, man, you stick a chair in the door and prop the door open, get some fresh air in the class.
It's a good old days.
That was kindergarten, we used to go over it outside.
Now we check doors, now we check doors and teachers get in trouble if something's propped open. But that's where we are.
I think it's a good question, man. It's a hard decision,
It
man.
is.
It's tough,
It is.
but it's unfortunate, it's the world we're in right now, and
What's
it's
the
a,
value of safety?
huh?
I mean, what's the value of safety?
Yeah,
Can you
it's-
put a value on it?
It's kinda like insurance, they never even
I
use
mean,
it.
Eagles out there, and Eagles, it's, some of these incidents, would that have stopped? It's prayer, man, you gotta pray that stuff just don't happen.
Yeah.
I mean,
And, yeah, and like, I went through one of the courses of training, last year, and I wish they would have kept that for everybody. You would have loved it. But,
With TSBA?
yeah,
Oh.
but they didn't offer it this year, cause I was gonna tell everyone, like, they should offer that course to every school. It should be at a faculty staff meeting, because it could be a parent that comes in every day.
Right.
So they come in, and without those monitoring there, they come in, well, secretary at the front desk, oh, hey, how are you today?
Right.
They let them in, they know. Well,
Right.
who knows if mom and dad just separated and got a divorce and he's there to, do whatever, or she,
Well, we need to put that back in the rotation. I mean, we know a guy. We need to try to get that back in
But
there.
it,
The other thing is, keep this in mind, our buildings, remember you had me draw that, are so old.
I know, yeah.
Right? So that the newest school building, other than the one we're building right now, the newest school building we have is 16 years old, correct? Atoka Elementary. So, 16 or 18?
16.
16 years old. So every point of entry, everyone's different looking, right? So some of them have the double corridor where you can lock that like you're supposed to, right? Like the new ones all have. Some of them don't. I mean, you walk in Brighton High School, you open that front door and you're in the lobby, right? Because the old design versus new designs versus, so, I could see it being really important in those areas, when you're coming in there. But anyway, again, I'm talking about stuff I'm not a specialist in. So if y'all want me to check into that and get more info at the meeting at the end of the month, I'm more than happy to do that.
yes, please.
We're good, yes. Got good.
That's all I got.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else, y'all have anything else? Good. Mr. Knight, anything, y'all have anything else, board? Anything you wanna add? Good. We're a good time. Well, if
Miss
not, we'll
Renee's
have
on the down.
Is this, how many more?
Meetings, well, two really.
Okay.
Two?
Two. That makes my stomach hurt.
Yeah. Are you sure, Miss Renee? You sure you want to leave? Yes, ma'am.
You're gonna miss us.
I don't
Probably
think
not.
she is. Enjoy her retirement.
Thanks for everybody, we appreciate it. We have a motion to adjourn tonight. I got a motion by Mr. Jenkins, second by Mr.